Welcome to the Beyond Ordinary Woman podcast. Every 2 weeks, we'll post a podcast version of one of our free training videos, but you can access them now at beyondordinarywomen.org. This episode or series includes downloadable information on our website, beyondordinarywomen.org. Go to Resources on the main menu and click on Podcast/Video Extras. Enjoy the podcast.
I'm Kay Daigle of Beyond Ordinary Women Ministries, and I'm here today with Dr. Michelle Pokorny, who is sharing with us about burnout. We've already had a couple of videos. The first one was the burn and burnout, so we can understand what burnout even is. The second was on the brink of burnout, signs, warning signs, alarms that should go off in your head if you're moving toward burnout. And this one is beating burnout, recommended practices for prevention and recovery. So, Michelle, as we get into this, let's assume that you've already moved into a phase of burnout in your life. And I don't know where a line is, but really you're burned out.
Sure.
What do you do to recover?
Right. You know, that can really feel kind of like a hopeless situation. But
Sure, probably is.
yes. But it actually can be an opportunity, a great opportunity to work with the Lord to develop a new way of living. And so you can see it somewhat as an invitation, really to go to Him and spend some time to just take a step back and think, how did we get here? And so in that process, I've found that people that have recovered from burnout often learned a great deal about themselves. They learned about their trigger points. They learned about what stresses them out. They learned about how to cultivate practices to really connect them to the vine, to connect them to the source. And so it can be a great opportunity to really grow. So that's once you've already been burned out. There's some things that we can do to help prevent burnout as well. One of those being identify your limits. And so really trying to, again, know yourself really well and know how much sleep do I need a night? Whenever I'm starting to feel stressed out, what do I need to do right in that moment? And then what I need to cultivate over the long haul. And we talked in the last video about 3 areas that pastors had neglected in their lives that led them to burnout. They'd neglected their rest, they neglected their people that could pour into them, and they neglected their means of connecting with God. And so on the flip side of things, those are areas that we need to cultivate. And so I think about the life of Jesus and the practices that He did, and He is our model for what it means to be fully human and fully alive. And so He had this pattern of engaging with people and ministering to them, but also taking some time back to get rejuvenated by the Father. And so we need to cultivate the same thing, a healthy rhythm of work and rest. And we see this back in the creation account. You know, Genesis 1, God, how many spiritual disciplines do we see God the Father do? Not many, but we see that He exercised Sabbath and He practiced Sabbath. And that's the first thing that Adam and Eve did after they were created, where they spent time enjoying God and enjoying His gifts. And so we have this wonderful gift of Sabbath that I think we here in America think of as a luxury thing, when really it's something that we desperately need. We need to stop. We need to remember that we are not God, that He's the creator and we're the created. So cultivating Sabbath is definitely one aspect that can help prevent and recover from burnout.
And I think a lot of people are like, I was growing up, I was taught that was the law, and we didn't have to worry about that anymore. So you can be just as busy on Sunday as you are any other day of the week, which isn't healthy.
Right. Yeah, there's that Protestant work ethic that keeps us driving. And that's manifested itself in my life as well. I kind of had this tendency to think that I needed to earn the right to enjoy a Sabbath. And so if I worked really hard throughout the week and managed my time really well, then I could take a break on Sundays. But on the flip side, if I didn't, then I needed to keep pushing through. And that's kind of a backwards orientation. Like I said, Adam and Eve, one of the very first things that they did was they rested in relationship with the Lord. And then that formed them for the rest of the week. It gave them a better view of who God is and who they were. It reminded them of that. And so for me, the practice of Sabbath has been one of the very most powerful things in helping to free me from performance-based acceptance, from thinking that I need to perform in order to earn or in order to have value. And so resting in the grace that God gives through that gift has been a powerful thing for my spiritual life.
And really beginning to observe Sabbath more was a thing that really helped me after I was burned out, for a little bit different reason, because mine wasn't so much performance oriented as it was, who's going to do this if I don't? Right. It's, I guess maybe back more to that Messiah complex, that I've got to do this. Yes. And instead, believing that God could take care of what needed to get taken care of, and he wasn't dependent on me.
Right, exactly.
That God could move without me.
Right.
Imagine.
Yeah, it's a mindset shift. It's something that we need to be reminded of often, that he's the creator and we're the created.
I really think that's an issue with much of our mindset in the United States, is that we think everything's really up to us, and we don't just trust God, whether we have a business, whether we have whatever it is that's causing us stress, that we feel like we've either got to be perfect with, or that all of the responsibility has fallen on us for whatever it is.
Yes. So. Yeah, that's right.
Well, do you have any last words for our audience? Any one thing that you would suggest to them as they think about burnout? They certainly will be able to download the resources that you're suggesting on our website at beyondordinarywomen.org. But is there any just last word of wisdom that you'd like to impart?
I think just knowing that there's always hope, and that God, even if someone is at that point of burnout, that he can use that experience to draw them closer to himself and to kind of reorient things in their lives. As well as, if you're not at the point of burning out, it's an opportunity to really look at your life, make sure you don't get that way, to remember that he is the vine, we're the branches. Apart from him, we can do nothing. And so keeping that perspective of who God is and who we are is really key.
That's great. Thank you so much, Michelle. Sure. And we will hope to see you again with some of our other videos that are on beyondordinarywomen.org under resources. We've got general leadership videos where this will be. We've also got videos for small group leaders, teachers, just for living the Christian life. And be sure and browse our website, and if we can help you in any way, if you need to contact us, if you have some questions about burnout, I'd be happy to talk to you, and if I don't know the answer, I'll call Michelle.
Thanks for listening to the Beyond Ordinary Women podcast. You can find more podcasts and information about women in leadership by going to beyondordinarywomen.org. This podcast was produced by Beyond Ordinary Women Ministries. Our production team includes Evelyn Babcock, Kay Daigle, Kay Halligan, Deborah Herring, Sharifa Stevens, and John Sparks. Theme music, Back in Stride by Don Miller, used by courtesy of Christine Miller.